So there's a quote from Gangaji, one of the people that I admire. And the quote says as follows, and I will relate to how it applies to what we're going to be exploring today. Recognize what is still, no matter what is going on. Recognize what is still, what is calm, in other words, no matter what is going on. The silence within the silence, the silence of the noise, the silence of the silence is not silence in opposition to noise. So I've been encountering quite an interesting experience the last couple of months, where I have very loud neighbors. And so I thought about that this morning, about sharing this with you guys, because I think it will provide an opportunity to acknowledge this. They're very loud, and I go to sleep very early because I start my spiritual practices and my day early. And so it's been quite a journey to try to control noise, right? And so in our last meditation class, we explored insomnia, and that was one of the reasons for my insomnia, was noise. And so I thought, if I stop blaming the outer world and I stop trying to control the noise, what if I surrender? And so instead of trying to control the outer world by, complaining to the association or, finding ways in human terms, let's say, to resolve the issue, if those things don't work, then what is next? What is next is for me to allow what is here and find peace regardless. And so I thought, what a beautiful teaching this situation has been for me, because I've gotten to see when we are pushed from the outer world, we can often encounter, the various ways that we can show up in the world, showing up in how we try to control the outer circumstances, for example. And so in this situation, instead of trying to control the noise, what I said is, let me find peace regardless of it, right? So I found very interesting that I found this quote by Gangaji, and I began practicing it. And I thought, well, what is the opportunity here for me? What if the universe was working with me, God, universe, knowing how I am, recognizing every moment as a teaching lesson? And I thought, what if I find the silence within the noise? What if I find peace within my inner conflict about the noise? And the outer conflict, obviously, because of the noise. Until I thought, let me resist nothing. Let me not resist the noise. Let me not resist my neighbor. Let me allow myself to experience what I'm experiencing and find peace through the clouds of thoughts and emotions. So some of the thoughts were, it's not fair. I deserve sleep. And all the human thoughts that come about. And I kept noticing that underneath the thoughts, as I would go to sleep, underneath the noise, was this desire to just surrender to the silence. And so I began to notice, let me notice the silence between the sounds, as I often tell you guys, let me notice the silence between the sounds. And you can notice it now even as I speak. Let me notice the quiet within my own heart. The stillness that is there no matter what is going on. And practicing that, eventually I drift into sleep. And the times when I don't drift to sleep, then I acknowledged, unable to drift to sleep. What can I do instead? I can relax my body. And eventually I fall asleep. And so it's been such a beautiful, and I often, share my experiences with you guys as a way to help, if any way, in very real ways, because it is a challenge, you know. Their concept of evening is different from my concept of evening. So what are you going to do? What do you do when you encounter differences between you and others? Do you fight against them? Do you fight against to get your way? Or can I allow myself to find peace regardless of the circumstances? That's freedom. Can I make peace with what is here right now, as it is right now? As I am on my path to making the situation better, however the universe shows me to make it better. And that is freedom to me. Can I find freedom in my own choice of how I want to feel? I want to feel peace regardless of any noise. So how can I find peace within the noise? How can I find peace within the noise? And there's a sense of freedom in that. And so let's consider in our lives, how often we encounter situations that may seem out of our control, out of our grasp, and where we want to control outcome or we want to get our way. And there's various things that we do as human beings in order to get our way, to make things happen the way we want. What if I can just surrender and allow life to guide me? And so at some point, I had something else happen this week that was, like a little pressure cooker, I called it. And so I was experiencing the little pressure cooker, and I was outside sitting on the grass, and I could feel all these feelings of, the pressure that I was putting on myself, the change in the breath, the holding of the breath, the headache that I was having trying to find a solution. And all of a sudden, this little butterfly came about in the air. And she just sat on the grass, moving her wings to the light of the sun in deep stillness. And I recalled a moment in my own life, earlier in my life, when I went through a difficult situation. I think I've shared this experience before. And after that experience, I was walking outside. At the time, I had 2 dogs. And I was walking outside with the 2 dogs. And I kept hearing the birds singing and life going on. And I thought, life continues regardless of whatever we might be going through. Life continues regardless of any thoughts I was having at that moment, sitting on the grass when the butterfly came and reminded me, be still. The wind will soften. The changes of life will soften. The thoughts will calm down. The emotions will calm down. And that moment that seems to take us out of our balance will soften. And the truth is that underneath whatever thoughts arise, whatever shifts of the waves of life, there is a peace within you that is always in stillness. And so I thought at that moment when I saw the butterfly and I was feeling all these feelings, I said, I'm going to really take this on. And so I made the situation even worse, at that moment with my own thoughts and feelings. And I said, how do you find balance when it feels the worst? The first thing to go often when we are encountering anxiety or fear or worry, concern, anger, whatever the emotions are that seem heavy for us and under whatever circumstances, is the breath. So the breath goes. So I was holding my breath. And so I said, let me locate my breath. Let me soften my breath. And then my vision was narrowed. And so I thought, let me widen my perception. Let me look around me. Let me look around and look at the ocean, at the lake, and look at the horizon and look at the sky and breathe. And yes, I will have the thoughts that I am having. And yes, I will have the sensations that I am having. But can I find that silence within the silence, that stillness within the stillness within the conflict, the peace within the conflict, inside or outside conflict? There is peace. There is stillness. It is there. The observer within you can help you locate it. And so I thought, let me access the observer within me. Let me notice the silence. Let me notice the stillness. And gently and slowly, I brought myself back to me. Same thing with sleep and the noise from my neighbors. At that moment when I want to pick up the phone and call the association, I think, what is that going to really resolve? They're going to still make noise. They have a right to do whatever they please. You know, and I know I might hear a couple of you, saying, yeah, you could do other things and try to control the outcome. Yeah, but how many outcomes are you going to want to control in your life in order for you to be happy? At what point do you decide, I choose my feelings? I choose to feel how I want to feel, not the outer world. And so I would put the phone down and I would say, I will practice mindfulness, being mindful. To me, that word essentially means being wholeheartedly me, which brings me to the lesson today. At the moment when I was outside in the grass, feeling the experience of what I call the pressure cooker, like the feelings very strong or the breath held, I realized it was up to me to feel better at that moment and that I had the power to do so. And that I can continue to go through life trying to change outside, trying to change the world around me to be as I want it to be, or I can change me and my perception of the world, my perception of this moment in time. And when you are willing to do that, what occurs is that you bring yourself fully present to the life that is here. So I thought when I was experiencing that pressure cooker feeling, I'm thinking too much about the past, or I'm thinking too much about the future, but I'm not here. And then the most miraculous thing happened. My doggy was sitting on the grass. He rarely sits still on the grass. And he was just looking into the horizon, calm. And I breathed. And I allowed myself to enjoy that moment for real. For real. To be here. I wasn't going to fix in that moment, this circumstance. But I was going to live. I was going to live. I was going to enjoy that moment with my doggy on the ground, and I was going to breathe. And I was going to take the life that is here right now. And so this is the power of finding the silence within the silence, the stillness within the noise. Is that if I continue to fixate on an outcome, if I continue to fixate my thoughts on what I want, I forget the life that is here. I forget the body that is experiencing this moment in time because I'm too concerned about trying to get to the next thing or trying to get things to be the way I want. Life is now. Life is now. And so I am grateful to my neighbors, because from a spiritual perspective, it's truly teaching, stop trying to get what you want always, and let the life that is here be what it is till you get to where you want to go, till you get the life that you want, or you get the moment that you want. But the truth is that what we truly want is the feeling state, the state of peace, the state of calm, and that you can have at any time. You don't need the outer world to look a particular way. You don't. You can have peace now. And there are so many tiny little moments, fractions, doorways to get us back to ourselves. True freedom is not asking anything from anyone or anything. Not asking the world to be different. Not asking people to be different. You be different. You see the world differently. You take charge of your emotions and find peace now. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder. But the doorway is always here. The doorway is always here. Let us find that doorway together as we explore meditation today. And one of the reasons for me, sharing this experience with you is that mindfulness extends beyond meditation. Mindfulness is about finding stillness in every moment in time, finding silence in every moment in time, finding peace within you, in every step, in every breath. You're the answer. You're it. So let's work on that. So we find a comfortable position, always giving the body the opportunity to encounter itself differently. And perhaps finding one single posture, whatever that might be for you. And if the body requires movement, move and then come back. If thoughts arise, notice the thoughts. Don't fight with them. Let them be what they are. Let be what is here, be as it is, and observe from the lens of peace. Let that be the intention. So we begin our meditation by finding a comfortable position, whether sitting or laying. We begin by bringing awareness to our breath in this moment. Sensing where the body is right now, how it sits or lays. Observing the rise and the fall of the breath. Resisting nothing in this moment. Perhaps noticing the sensations of the body, noticing the feet and the soles of the feet. Simply bringing awareness, resting our awareness on the breath, on the body, and the spaces in between. Noticing the soles of the feet and the ankles, the shins and the knees, the thighs and the hips. Noticing the lower belly and the upper belly, the hips and the lower back. Noticing the middle back and the chest, and the way the ribs move as you breathe. Perhaps bringing the breath to the back of the belly. Noticing the rise and fall of the belly as you breathe. Allowing the awareness to gently travel through each area of the body, resting in this moment. observing the rise and fall of the breath, noticing the rise and fall of the chest, noticing the upper back and the shoulders and shoulder blades. Noticing the upper chest and the hollow of the throat and neck. Noticing the left shoulder, the left upper arm, elbow, lower arm, wrist, hand, and fingers. Noticing the right shoulder and shoulder blade, the right upper arm, the right elbow, and the lower arm, and the right wrist, hand, and fingers. Noticing the gentle rise and fall of the breath. And perhaps allowing yourself to let go even further through the exhale of any areas of tension or holding. As if you were able to allow the bones to hold you, the ground or your seat to hold you. Letting go of the need to hold yourself up or down. Softening, surrendering. Relaxing the neck and the back of the head. Relaxing the crown of the head, the left ear and the right ear, the forehead, the center of the forehead, the left eye and the left eyelid, the right eye and the right eyelid, surrendering with every inhale and exhale, deeper and deeper into calmness. Relaxing the face, the left cheek and the right cheek, the jaw and tongue, the shin, the whole front of the body and the sides of the body, and the back of the body resting. And beginning to notice, imagining yourself walking through a beautiful trail. Noticing the ground as you walk, sensing the ground as you walk. Allowing every step to help you relax even further, to surrender even more. Imagining a beautiful trail, perhaps sensing the flowers or the trees around you, and beginning to see a clearing as you walk through the trail. Perhaps noticing a fire waiting for you. Noticing the light from the fire as you walk towards it. When you notice someone sitting across from the fire, a part of you that is higher, wiser, the observer part of you. And noticing yourself walking towards this wise part of you and sitting across from this light within you, sitting across the fire and noticing the stillness that is here, the quiet within the sounds, the calm within sensations, letting go and surrendering, and observing the light of the fire and the presence of this wise, all-knowing part of you. And sensing the presence of this wise self now within you. The part of you observing the fire, observing you breathe, sensing the calm and the silence that surrounds you right now in this moment in time. And sensing the presence of grace within the fire. Sensing the presence of grace within you as you breathe. As if grace, kindness, peace was in the breath around you and the air around you. Breathing it into the center of your being. Surrendering to the breath, as if you could surrender to the air around you, to the space around you, held by the presence that is observing you breathe in this moment in time. Allowing all your awareness to rest within the stillness between thoughts, the silence between sounds. And sensing the divine fire within your own heart as you breathe. Noticing the part of you observing what is here right now, experiencing the breath. The part of you hearing me speak. And allowing the attention to rest within the sounds, within the spaces, within the words. Surrendering to the stillness that is here. Allowing yourself to rest deeper and deeper within the quiet spaces, the spaces of silence, the spaces between words, the spaces within thoughts. Allow what is here to be as it is, resisting nothing, allowing everything to be as it is. Be held by the space around you. Be held by the stillness that is here right now. Noticing the wise part of you present as you breathe. The life force within you as you breathe. Sensing the light. The grace that surrounds you. And very gently becoming aware of the body, of the sensations, of the soles of the feet, or in the palms of the hand. Becoming aware of the breath, returning to the presence with deep awareness into the now, sensing the body as it is right now, deeply calm and peaceful. Gently returning into the life that is here, remaining in that state of deep calm, open and receptive, resting in the grace that surrounds you and is within you. Moving the toes and fingers, and returning now. Gently sensing the eyelids and opening them. Bringing your awareness back into the now. And when you are ready, coming back fully into the room or into the place where you are, ready to go about your day or to go to sleep. And those of you that are in class, perhaps taking a moment to write down your experience, to gather the awareness back into the now moment, and allowing the wiser self to arise into this new moment in time with a sense of possibilities, a sense of peace and calm. And if you have any questions or comments that you'd like to share with the class, please do so now. Still maintaining that space of peace as you return. The moments of transition from meditation or a mindfulness practice into the now is key. It allows us to bring the fruits of our work into the life that is here. To bring that state of awareness, of grace, that state of presence, of the stillness and the silence into our daily lives, so that we may show up more as who we truly are. Hi, please go ahead and unmute yourself and share. Hi.
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 I just like to share that I saw the flame of the big fire,
Mm,
and I don't know how express than the essence of and the glowing is the same as the one that I had here.
correct.
And then they melted.
Mm,
I don't know how to was I don't cry too often because I have dry eyes. But just pop some tears for the emotion, just to um, recognize or confirm or feel that is the same essence.
Yeah.
The big fire with the small one. I just like to share that.
Thank you so much for sharing. One of the opportunities of that imagery is recognizing that the outer grace is within us as well. That
Is
that
this
gray, yes,
is the same essence? Is the same.
yes, yeah. And
Thank you.
so, oh no, thank you. And so when we experience the world through the lenses of thoughts or emotions, we are limiting the perspective of the truth that is here, which is grace is here, peace is here, stillness is here. And it is not to say to negate what we feel, or to negate, for example, as I was saying earlier about the neighbors being loud, to deny my anger in that moment or my frustration in that moment, but to allow it to be and to recognize there is a deeper truth in that moment. You know, that there is a grace, that there is a peace within the sounds, that there is silence within the noise, that there is peace within the conflict, that there is an opportunity to find grace, that higher fire within you that can light the way to truth, that we can remember who we really are in every moment in time, you know, and to say, I'm not my frustration. I'm having a frustrated moment, but I am not my frustration. I can allow the emotions to arise and to fall and to come back to that inner fire and to come back to the stillness that is here. And we will explore this in future classes. But I'd like to, as Ali was sharing, the inner and outer world being the same, think about how often you might pass down the same area. For example, you say this example all the time. I used to pass by a building when I had an office. And if I was having a good day, I would look at the building and think, oh, what a pretty building. And if I was having a more like busy day, or, you know, thinking about other things, I might think like, oh, I don't like the color of that building, or I would find flaws in it, or I would find, you know, point out other things about it. And so I thought how often our mood, you know, our thoughts shift what is actually here, taint it. Almost like if you're wearing glasses, you know, there's the glasses of a happy mood or a grumpy mood. What if I take them both out? What remains? The truth of what is here, which is peace and stillness, not the place beyond thoughts, the place that holds it all, the place that holds the thoughts, that holds the emotions, the place of you that observes all things as they are, without a sense of judgment, without a need for anything outside of you to comply with your desire, but that it allows life to be and to show up as it is, just as it is. Jessica, do you want to share?
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I just saw the image of like a hawk landing on my left shoulder, and it's like sunny, it's a beautiful day, and then I kneel down on the ground and place my forehead on the land, and then I think I was giving thank you to Earth, um, and I felt at peace, and it was very I did feel very like a deep sense of peace and silence in the meditation. It was beautiful.
Thank you so much for sharing, and for
Thank you.
sharing the symbolism of bringing grace to the ground. You know, hawk in shamanism, at least in some of the shamanistic practices that I am aware of, is a symbol of God. and God coming to visit, grace coming to visit. And grace has many names and many images and many ways of arriving to us in our lives. And we are grateful for the imagery that you shared today. And that sense of surrender to the earth, I think, is also key. When I was sitting outside, as I was sharing earlier, touching the ground, that grounding of being present with the ground, with the solidity of the ground, helps. When we begin our meditation and become aware of our body is our ground. Our body is our earth. And how often we lose contact with it. And to know that we can always come back home. We can always come back to solid ground. We can always honor the earth as you bowed onto the ground, and we can bow to the heart as we become aware of our physical form. Thank you, Jessica, for sharing. Is there anyone else? Good. So I'd like to welcome you all to come back. I'd like to welcome you all to practice what we experienced today. Whether it was a moment of peace, whether it was a moment of quiet, whether it was a moment of remembering that there is a place of stillness, that there is an opportunity to return to grace, to not fight against what is, but to allow what is here to be as it is. And so to end the session, as I was mentioning earlier with the experience of the loud neighbors, can I encounter a situation in my life that might be causing resistance within me with a sense of softening, a sense of peace and self-empowerment, and still take whatever actions I need to take to change it? But can I allow all my actions, all my thoughts and words to be in alignment with the truth of who I am, which is that place of stillness? Can I return to that calm before I say anything, do anything, think anything? Can I allow the place of the inner fire to guide me? Yes, you can. And can I also know that I am supported by the universe and that the universe supports us all? And it always finds a way to give peace to my neighbors as well as to me. And so I'd like to leave you with that. What if the universe could find a place for all of us? A place where we could find peace without needing each other to be different, without needing the outer world to act a certain way. What if we were guided by the grace that surrounds us and the stillness within our own hearts? Then perhaps we would find peace everywhere we went. Then perhaps we would allow each other to be as we are. I send you all my love and light, and I am grateful for you sharing your time with me today. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Till I see you next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.